traveling is a concession for you to break your fast. And we said that some of the scholars they differentiate between the traveling which is for obedience and traveling which is not for obedience. Also, we have, Ikhwani, that in this hadith, this is an important thing, that the Sharia came to make things easy. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ, he had said at the beginning when he came to Medina. If you remember with me, that the Prophet of Allah, soon he came to Medina from Mecca, he saw that the people are playing in particular 2 days. So he asked about these 2 days. So they said to him that these are the 2 days that are like Eid for us. He said Allah Azza wa Jal had swapped these 2 days by better days, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. And let the Jews of the Medina, because they were surrounding the Medina, to know that we have concessions in our religion. You know that the Jews, they were having very strict laws, whether it's with their intercourse with their wives as well. They have to be on a side, not like the normal top one, bottom, no, have to be on the side. Even I've seen some of the sects of the Jews as well. They have to have a piece of cloth. So nobody's touching to the body except for the private part to the private part. So there's a hole, just a hole, and the sheet has to be placed. I've seen this. This is some of the sects. That's Allah Azza made it difficult to have the full entertainment for the person. So the Prophet said, let the Jews of the Medina know that we have concessions in our religion. And that I was sent, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ بِحَنِفِيَّةٍ سَمْحَةٍ. I was sent with an easygoing religion. You know that the Jews, when they have the women that they are on their menses, they set them aside. They isolate them completely. They don't eat with them because they consider them shaitan. So their religion. But the Prophet ﷺ, he made you to do whatever you like with your wife, even if she's in her menses, except the intercourse. Anything. I'm not going to go into details. Khalas. It's open, but intercourse is not allowed. So that's why Aisha, she said, if he wants to come to one of us, he will put a izar on her private parts, just a private part of hers, and then he does what he likes. That's Aisha radiallahu anha, she's explaining this. Also, we find it is sinful if the person is going to cause himself harm if he fasts while he's traveling, and that fast is affecting his health, affecting his life. Same thing with illness. It's not correct that even, especially old people, they got used to this. If this old person got used to basically to fast and he can't break his fast and his doctor is telling him on diabetic, by type 1, you need to break your fast, then you're sinful with this fast. You're better not to fast. But it is permissible if that illness is not that much. It is permissible if that traveling is not affecting you that much. Okay? And it's a concession for the person to break his fast. طيب. As we go to the following hadith, 561. Fadl. Sorry, 547. I'll tell you what, akhi. 447. I'll just give you the time for the question and answers, better for me, because I don't want to have even 3 hadith. Just do the following hadith and we stop, inshallah. Fadl. Ahmed.
1 second, please, Sheikh.
1 second is finished. Say 1 minute.
Hadith number 549, narrated Abu Hurairah radiallahu an.
549. 547 for me, 548 for you.
Yeah, you're right, I'm sorry. Hadith 548, narrated by Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him and his father. Permission was given for an old man to break his fast in Ramadan and feed a poor for every day, and no makeup is required of him. Reported by Ad-Daraqutni and Al-Hakim, both of whom authenticated it.
The hadith is definitely authentic. And Shaykh Al-Albani in Al-Irwa, he makes it authentic. Rahmatullahi alayhi. Daraqutni makes it authentic. Al-Hakim makes it authentic. But we have more comfort when Sheikh Al-Albani makes it authentic, rahmatullah alayhi. He's one of the scholars that, subhanAllah, his name is stuck now to those muhaddithin. So when it's mentioned, Imam al-Tirmidhi, Sahahahu al-Albani. Imam al-Albani, Sahahahu al-Albani. Allah willed for his name to be stuck. Whether they like him or not, they like him. They're stuck, class. And everybody now feeling comfortable when the Sheikh Al-Albani makes it authentic or not. Not any other scholar. Rahmatullah alayhi Sheikh. Says يا إخواني, الشيخ الكبير, old man. That means old woman as well. Allah's Messenger had, this is Abdullah ibn Abbas, when he says himself, rukhisa is being made permissible, that means it's from the Prophet ﷺ. This is Sunnah. And to break his fast, why? Because he gets weak. Anas, he lived a long time, above 100. When he was above 100, he was not strong enough to fast. He used to, after the Ramadan is finished, gather 30 miskeen, poor people, and would feed them. Because Allah Azza wa Jal, وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ فِدْيَةٌ طَعَمُ مِسْكِينٍ. The Siyam was at the beginning, Ikhwani, it was permissible, it was not compulsory. That's how Ramadan came. Then later on the ayah has شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم. This is when it became compulsory. But before that, no. So even the person who's capable of fasting, then if he doesn't want to fast, he just pays fidya. وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين. وأن تصوموا خيرا لكم. But to fast is better for you. But later on, because of Quran, it became compulsory. Now this ayah, it was partially abrogated. Abdullah ibn Abbas, he says that now the ayah becomes وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ بِصُعُوبَةٍ. The ones who are capable of fasting but with difficulty. So this ayah now is what for what? For old people. People can't fast. That means the one who are able to fast, but they're difficult because they're old, they are able to do fidyatun ta'amu miskin, to make the fidya. The fidya is to feed a poor person. According to the ayah, you have to feed the poor person meal. So you need to make 30 meals. So it's better to give 30 poor people. If you don't have 30 poor people, you could have, for example, 10 people, feed them 3 meals each. But the best is 30 meals. So 30 poor people. But if you gave this person, okay, and do I need to feed every day? No, you don't need to. You could just wait until the end of Ramadan. But you can't feed before you start the day. So before Ramadan, or for example, I am today, the first day, I'm feeding a poor person, but I want to feed as well another person for the following day. No, I can't. If you did, it's not going to be accepted. It's like paying your speeding ticket before you're speeding. You understand what I'm saying? Come to the policeman, £100 for what? I'm going to speed next week. He's not going to accept it from you. So you have to do the crime, and then you pay the penalty. Here, you have to break the day. So you could feed if you pass the Fajr time. If you pass the Fajr time and you break in the fast, you could feed that day. No problem. So feeding also, because of Hadith Aisha radiallahu anha, that you can give half a sa' for each day you break. So the Hadith adds to the ayah now. Hadith says ta'am, you have to feed him, make him ready meal. But now, because of the hadith, that's half a barley. So it's better for you maybe to give him a bit of oil to cook this. Half a sa', sorry, half a sa'. The sa' it could be, sa' is about, ikhwani, 4 handful from the Hashemite hands. About 2.5 kilos from the rice, for example. So half a sa', about 1.25 kilos. Make it 1.5 kilos. 1.5 kilos, half a sa'. So 1.5 kilos, you've done the whole month, 1.5 kilos multiplied by 30 days, that's a 45 kilos. Give Yahi 50 kilos, which is a sack of 50 kilos to the poor person. You give it to him, and that's it. So I don't need now to count how many meals, because it counted how many sa'. Makes it most easier, isn't it?
Bag of rice.
Bag of rice of 50 kilos, not because bag of rice is 25 kilos as well. Bag of rice of 50 kilos. You give it to a family. I don't care how many is the family. 2 people, 3 people. I gave them for the whole days that I broke the fast. Okay, that makes it easy. The hadith makes it easy. Otherwise, I have to feed 30 people. So I have to count, for example, how many meals I'm going to give to each one. But this one, counting how many kilos I'm going to give. And that's easy for me. طيب. So now he says, قال, the Prophet ﷺ, Abdullah ibn Abbas, ولا قضاء عليه. And there is no compensation. Khwani, this is important. That means if this old person is weak, and this weakness is going to be for a long time because he's old, he's going to get older and older. He's not going to go younger, going to more weaker. So there's no such thing for him to compensate by making up the days. He's to what? Either fast or break the fast and give the fidya, but not to fast and make up for the fast. You understand? Either fast, if it's going to be difficult for too much, you're going to be jeopardizing life, he might be sinful. Or if he doesn't fast, there's no option for him to make up for those days. He has to what? Fidya. Okay? There's to be fidya because he said, وَلَا قَضَاءَ عَلَيْهِ. No making up for those days. Same thing in this category, you could put the following. The one who is chronically ill, long-term illness. You know, so chronic, sorry, not chronic. Chronically is wrong. Chronic illness. Chronic means long-term. Got cancer, got diabetes. Same thing, we could add him because this is على الذين يطيقونه, the ones who are difficult for them to fast. So this is included now with the old man, old woman, and also chronic illness, long-term illness. Illness that starts for 1 year or more. Also, Abdullah ibn Abbas adds to them the pregnant and the breastfeeding woman, because the scholars differed a lot for this. These pregnant or breastfeeding women, they have the option. Now, the differentiation between it, they have scared on their children or they're scared on their selves and they're scared on both. That separation or that EBC, you can see it in the fiqh, has no proof. I looked at it so much. There's no proof. In khafata, Allah said in khafata, they were fearing, whether themselves or their children, they could do the same thing as an old man, old woman, and also as the chronic illness. Because the women are from, pregnancy to breastfeeding, from breastfeeding to pregnancy. It's a cycle. That's why it's called long term. That's why they give the option. So the pregnant women and the breastfeeding women, they have the same thing, either to fast, but if they don't fast, what do? Feed. There's no making up for the days. You understand that? No making up for the days. The option is this or that. But to make them two, that if they don't fast, they make up for the days, and plus they call it kafara. There's no kafara on them. They haven't done a mistake. And there is no fidya upon them. Fidya is ransom. So the fidya, if they fasted Ramadan, there's no fidya. If they did not fast, there's a fidya, no kafara. But there's no making up. To make them the fidya plus making up for the days, that's harassment. That's not what the ayah says. يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ. This is the whole ayah. Allah intends what? Ease. All of this to do with ease. وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Does not intend hardship onto you. From the beginning. All of it easy, ikhwan. If you look, hastening over the breaking of the fast, delaying the sahur, all of it from the ease. It's ease. To hasten, not to wait and wait. No, break it fast quickly. And not to really, because of precautionary, let me just half an hour before, don't let me have sahur. No. When the sahur, even from the ease, remember, you're drinking, you're eating. Adhan is on. Real adhan, not the adhan which is before the fajr. Real adhan, the fajr. The time kicked in. What do? Still ease. Drinking, I'm finishing what I'm having, I'm finishing it up. Prophet said, فَلَا يَضَعْهُ إِذَا أَذَّنَ الْمُؤَذِّنُ وَفِي يَدِ أَحَدِكُمُ الْإِنَاءُ فَلَا يَضَعْهُ. If the adhan is to be cold and you have the cup, you have the food, and you're eating, don't stop until you take the satisfaction. That's the ease. Compare it to the ease of some of the fiqh which says, if the adhan of the fajr is on and you are eating or you are drinking, now you have to fish it out. Bring a fork, put inside, take it out. Even if you, wallah, that's what they say. I'm making this up. Fish it. You have to fish it up. Come on, what is this? Where is the ease? So every ayah, every hadith goes with this ease. يريد الله بكم اليسر. Allah intends ease, ikhwani. It doesn't intend hardship on you. Subhanallah, the sum of the, if you have a bit of bleeding, you break another fast. If your gum is bleeding, you broke the fast. So, go to the Hajj. If you do like this, so when you want to wash your head, don't wash it because what? If 3 hairs come out, that's a fiqh, ikhwani. I'm not saying something making up. That's a fiqh. I've seen a person telling another person in Hajj, how can I wash my head? He said like this. Why? Because he's scared. If you put like this, some hair falls. Because according to the Hanafi madhab, you finished. Huh? I don't know he's Hanafi is. He finished. Huh? Yeah, real Hanafi. We are a proper Hanafi. All of us Ahnaf. Ahnaf, that means Hanifa. Tilt away from the shirk. And we all love Abu Hanifa. But Abu Hanifa makes mistakes, akhi. Well, I've seen the person telling him like this. Wash like this. Knock on your head. Because in case they're going to drop hairs. That's not the ikhwani, the ease. Ease. Allah sent us with ease. Imagine, now you have to have the waterproof khuf. You can't otherwise make masah on it. What is the ease? The Sahaba didn't have waterproof. No one bought from Asda or other. No. They got holes in it. They're not waterproof. They're not even, they have to be bulletproof. صحابة عبد الله حسن البصري said وهل كانت خفاف الصحابة إلا مخرقة ممزقة. The khifaf, they were bandages, wrap. And Umar al-Khattabi says الجورب خف من صوف. I like what he says. Socks are khuf, but they're made of wool, not made of leather. الجورب خف من صوف. Simple. That's how the deen of Sahaba, ikhwani. Not something which makes it difficult, makes the person puts off to be a Muslim. Put him off. Wallahi, put him off to be a Muslim. Ease. يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر. And on the contrary, they say that, that's what they said. When somebody's strict, he's Hanbali. If you notice that, they say Hanbali. And then the other madhahib is what? Spacious. But it's the contrary. It's the contrary. The Hanafi is the one which is what? Strict. And the Hanbali, no. The Hanbali means that you're allowed to make wudu and wipe on the sock. Hanafi doesn't. Hanbali allows for you to pray with blood gushing. Hanafi says doesn't. And Hanbali does make you go and kiss your wife and make salah. Shafi'i doesn't. You finish your wudu. Which one is more strict then? See? So when the Hanbali came, because Imam came later on, he had more hadith than the others. So he was to the sunnah more, and that's why he's more spacious, not Hanbali. We are in Arabs, if somebody's strict, he's saying he's Hanbali, but it's actually strict to what? To implementing the deen. That's what it means. Not strict into the ahkam. No, it's spacious. Everything's spacious, alhamdulillah. I'm not saying Imam Ahmad doesn't make mistakes, but I'm just saying, as Imam Ibn Hazm, he said, he's the one who's got the least of the mistakes from the other imams, because he came later on and he had more hadiths. Rahmatullahi ala al-a'immati jami'a. طيب. I think we just stop here. Do you have any questions? What time is Isha? I need to stop before, huh? 10? 10 o'clock. Okay, we got 15 minutes inshallah for questions, and we'll leave inshallah. Any question, Ikhwani? You want to have the questions? Jazakumullah khair. I'll start with the Imam, even though you're closer. This is my methodology. But because he's Imam, I have to give him the veto, right? Fadal, ya Sheikh.
My question is from last week.
Okay.
We discussed that you told us about the kafara of someone who breaks their fast with intimacy, because of intimacy, sorry, they have to fast 2 months in a row. So my question was, can someone choose to fast December and January, for example, or do they need to do it right after Ramadan?
Right. Do I need to do the fasting that I break, whether it is intimacy, whether I had, for example, menses, postnatal, the women, they break the fast, but they make what? They have to make up for the fast. So then they make it straight away. And he's saying because of this kafara of intimacy is 2 months, do I need to make it straight away? And also the person who kills someone unintentionally, he has to free a slave. If he can't fast 2 months consecutively, they need to do it fast or he could delay it. Well, Allah Azza wa Jal, as in general, He says, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. Hasten. So you start straight away. And it's not correct to start with voluntary before you start with obligatory. I'll give you an example. You start with 6 days of Shawwal before you compensate your Ramadan. You've been asked for the missed days of Ramadan. That's a debt. Give your debt. So imagine that you are in debt to me. Or I'm in debt to you, Abdul Rahman. Okay? And my loan is about 500. Then you see me giving sadaqah 10 pounds, this poor person 10 pounds. What happens to you? Before you start giving him 10 pounds sadaqah, give me my money back. Correct or not? And that's the siyam. This is a debt for Allah Azza wa Jal. You must pay it. And then you start giving sadaqah. Well, I'm giving sadaqah now. 6 days of Shawwal. No, start with your original. So same thing here. Start with your 60 days. Now, you could postpone it. But postponing for, I want to make it December, is really shorter. I would say it's allowed if the person, he finds himself difficult for him to fast during the month of summer, which is correct. He's got a genuine reason. Months of, they're not normal. They're not normal. For example, June and July and August, they're not normal. They're almost a day and a half. Day and a half each. So if this person got genuine reason to postpone it for that, because 2 months, it's not 2 days, 3 days, 2 months consecutively, then inshallah, we'll say that it'll be okay. Now,
Same question about, if, like, for instance, in the summer, an old person, you're finding it difficult to fast, it's really difficult. And then can you make it up in the summer, winter, or you still have to pay fidya? Do you understand?
No. The old person, when he does not fast, there is no such thing he could make up for the days, whether it is short or long or whatever. I said that before. Either he fasts or he doesn't fast and pay fidya. Okay?
No.
All right. Doesn't fast, pay. So if, for example, Ramadan came during the winter and he finds himself it's easy to fast, you want to fast, no problem, fast. Yeah, but not to make up. Can't make up. Have to pay the fidya. Now,
I was off topic a bit. It's okay.
not plumbing, it's the deen, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, go on, off topic.
It's about voting. So there's an election coming up.
This is not plumbing. It is plumbing. Go.
There's an election coming up. So just wondering, what's the conditions of voting?
Who's the candidate? Election of what? Can you just tell me?
For Conservative, Labour.
Oh, is it coming up now?
Yes, second council.
Council, it's not their major. We already have how many election? Council. The council. Okay, so the mayor, for example, Mr. Khan from London, is that right? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you get from Mr. Khan when you voted for him?
Or what do you call it?
Executive charge.
More congestion charges. You get from him. I just want to ask, what did he get when you voted for that? Did he, for example, synchronize with anything that you like as a Muslim? For me, there's no difference between Boris Johnson and Mr. Khan Johnson.
He prayed in Trafalgar Square, did he?
I don't know what he prayed, but I'm just saying, for me, there's no difference. I will tell you what the opinion of our Sheikh Al-Albani, rahimahullah. The opinion is that if there is a maslaha mutahaqqiqa, a righteous goal which is going to be taking place with this voting, then this voting, Sheikh Al-Albani would say to you, even it becomes almost compulsory upon you to do it. But as for you to present yourself as a candidate, Sheikh Al-Albani is not allowed. Because you are a person who's going to be abided by certain laws which you can't change. Correct? You can't change these laws. Are you going to stop, for example, alcohol? You're not going to stop nothing. So, Prophet Sheikh Al-Bani says, "Man dakhal al-barlaman faqad tabarlaman." I like his phrase. He who does into the parliament is parliamented in Arabic. Tabarlaman. So you are going to be burning yourself in order to give light to others. Why should you burn yourself for nothing? But if a person put himself as a candidate and he is better, whether he's a Muslim against non-Muslim, you could sometimes vote to the non-Muslim if you think better than this Muslim who is got nothing to do with Islam, except for his name or his background, and he's going to show us more even chaos and restriction against Muslim. I would rather to have the non-Muslim. Do you understand me? So, based upon general, yes, Islam will choose. But these days, look, there's one of the people who became a Muslim. Oh, sorry, he was a Muslim in the cabinet. It's bold. Can't remember his name. It's bold. But he's, I don't know, he was in the cabinet before. I'm not really interested in politics.
The Tory one.
The Tory one, yes. Sajid something, correct. What is it about Islam? And what is it to do with Islam? I'm asking. Huh? He drinks and all of that. What is it to do with Islam? I don't understand that. It's just his name, Sajid. So he hates Islam. Look, in the name of Islam, he hates Islam. His name is Sajid, means a prostrator. But not to Allah. Sajid. And this is what I would say, that let somebody else who's not a Muslim to take over instead of, in the name of Islam, you're going to present this. In the name of Islam, you're going to present this, which is not nothing to do with Islam. But as I said, so if you find there's a potential gain, go ahead. Why not? Vote for that person. But for me, it doesn't make a difference. This and that, they are just changing the clothes, changing the clothes. And they're putting this hat on top of that hat and that. And Tony Blair, who can believe that he's a Labour? Who can believe that? Can't believe that. He's a conservative in the chassis. In the chassis. The out case is what? Labour, but the machine inside is Tory. And there's no difference as well. And the Labour, no, there's no difference. There's not that much difference. And people got no choice except this or that. It's a democracy. You can't have the third or fourth choice. You have to have this or that. I like one of the adverts was showing. I think the SDP who wants to, the Green Party or something, that they want people to pay attention. And they're putting that, the beam that goes this way and this way. It's like a swing. What is it called that? Huh? Seesaw. So they put in one Labour here, and the other side what? The Labours and the Conservatives. Labour Conservative, T, and he's watching. He said, forget about it. Just look at me. You see me? It's always like this. I mean, we have to have a third party. And there's no third party. Never, ever. I mean, it's either Tories or the other Labour. But anyway, if you think there's a good... I'm not a politician, man. And I think politics has got no deen. No deen, ya Ikhwani. Doesn't follow any deen. Nothing. It follows the deen of itself. Okay. Now. تفضل.
Ramadan, and I'm traveling, but I'm fasting just out of ease because I'm going to come home, break fast with my family, inshallah. But when it comes to Salah, I'm joining my prayers because I'm traveling, but it doesn't feel right because I'm fasting. I think, should I do the travel prayer but not break the fast?
Don't connect between fast and pray in terms of your traveling. There's no connection. You don't have to, you can combine while you are as well, not fasting because of traveling. No problem. And vice versa as well. You could be fasting and not combining as well, but you must shorten. And also you remember when we said that fasting for the traveler, you could break it before the travel. You understand that? We said the hadith of iftar as-sa'im qabla as-safar. So let's say that you're flying 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So well before Maghrib. Even it's just before Maghrib. I'm traveling. I could break my fast from the beginning. And that's the correct opinion. You find different scholar sort of saying different, but this is the hadith. Sheikh Al-Albani said this hadith says the Prophet of Allah made it permissible to break your fast before before the journey starts. Whereas the prayer, you cannot combine, you cannot shorten until you what? You are on a journey. Okay, so you can't shorten the prayer before in the house before you leave. You cannot combine unless the combination is for not the traveling because of the need. Not to, and if you can't, for example, I'm traveling Dhuhr, I'm traveling Asr, and I want to combine, I'm here, because I'm traveling, I want to get a combination here while I'm at home. The combination here because you need to do the combination. Because maybe you're on the journey, you can't be doing the Asr, that's the need. You're on the journey, if you're traveling, for example, because you're supposed to always pray Akhwani on the land, not on the plane, unless it is needed. Don't leave your prayer on the plane unless it is impossible to pray it on the land. Fine. Anybody? Fadl Habibi. Just come here. What is wrong with your back? Okay, خلاص. Then you are having the fidya, inshallah. تفضل. I'm sorry about these brothers who are listening. I forgot the microphone. Go ahead.
Do you have an option to pay and feed, or do you, in the sense of if you?
So what's the mistake you've done? You made an oath. You made an oath with intention to do something, and then you broke your oath. You can't do that, fulfill the oath. So you have the kafara is as follows: one of the two options, and then after that, the second. So you got two categories. You have to go to the first category before you go to the second category. Okay, the first category is a choice between freeing a slave or feeding 10 people or clothing 10 people. That's the first category. I don't go to the second category fasting the 3 days if I'm able to do one of these two. So if I'm able to free a slave and I can feed 10 people, I've got a choice. I could free a slave, or I could feed 10 people, or I could clothe 10 people. But I can't go to the second choice, which is the second category of fasting 3 days. Only if I'm unable to feed the slave, unable to feed because I'm poor person, unable to clothe them because I'm a poor person, then I will fast the 3 days. And I'm sure that you're not going to go to the 3 days because you are capable of feeding 10 people, 4 people. Yes? So fasting the 3 days now, you don't have to fast them together. Fast them, you don't have to fast them one after the other. And becomes compulsory. You could fast even the day which is controversial, Saturday. You could fast off Saturday as well because it's compulsory. Now, today I just was listening to the radio coming as well. You know that the Prime Minister, he was talking about that the Jewish community and anti-Semitism. I don't know if you heard about this or not. And he strictly was saying that, the Jewish cannot live like a life where they are terrified and terrorized when they go to for example, the GP, or they go to the NHS, or they go to send their children to the school and all of them, which we agree with. That his wife is Jewish. It doesn't mean anything anyway for me. Jewish, his wife or children go to the Jewish synagogue as well. But he said the synagogue protection, we're going to make protection, anti-Semitism. But you see, the problem is that we have double standard here as well. And the ones who were talking on the radio was really, I think they were just, they said, in all we talk about this, we corner the Muslims at the same time. You know what happened lately because of this image of that Israeli soldier who's hammering the head of, the statue of so-called Jesus, peace be upon him. Yes? That made, huh? No. You see, you're not smashing as a statue. It was not smashing. It's shirk is a statue. It's no, because it's a symbol of Jesus, peace be upon him. Do you understand me? So for somebody, let's say an Israeli person comes and lets people making a statue of Muhammad. A'udhu billah. Okay, he is smashing it. Okay, we are happy that he's smashing a statue, but he's not doing it because it's a statue shirk. It's because he hates Muhammad. And these people hate Jesus, alayhi salam. And that triggered hatred, not from the Muslims, from the Christians. Okay, you know that at the moment, what's it called, is high flag. What's it called, the crime of the terror or something, high flag. They put it,
Level.
threat level, the threat level, correct. Threat level is a bit high now. Going to be for the next 6 months. Because of the Jews.
Yeah.
Because of what? Because of that, I think, because there's that statue as well. But you see, the Muslim community, we are the most safest community. And the Jews were living with us all their lives. They were living in Medina until they betrayed. But still, the one who did not betray the Prophet of Allah, he was dealing with the person so much so that when he died, his shield was owned by a Jewish for a few barley. That Jewish person, he feels secure to take from the head, the president, the prophet, something in return in case you don't return my money back. Do you understand me? This is how the safety it is. This Jewish person, even as the head of the state, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you borrowed from me 30 sa'. 30 sa', what is that? Nothing. 60 kilos of rice, 60 kilos of barley it was actually. Sha'ir, barley, was worth nothing. And he says, okay, Muhammad, bring me your shield. In case if you don't pay, I'll sell it. And the Prophet died without what? Paying it. It's been settled, but I'm just saying that he's got, this is in case. So this is to show how safe is this Jewish person to say to the Prophet, I want your shield. That's how safe, Yahwan. The Jews were living amongst us, they're safe. They were practicing their deen. Nobody, la ikraha fi deen. Allah Azza wa Jalla, la yanhakum an alladhina. Allah, He said, does not prohibit you from those who did not drive you out of your houses, did not wrong you. Allah does not, la yanhakum. Those who did not fight in your religion, did not prohibit you. And He said to you to be good to these people. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا. If you wronged, even you're not Muslim, if you're wronged, you have to have punishment. You wronged me, you had harmed me, that's something else. So some of the British senior people, they were saying, okay, but we can't make, for example, stop the Palestinian or pro-Palestinian protest because of this anti-Semitism. You know what our stand is against the protest, all of it is rubbish. We don't protest. This is not really a good system. But here in this country, they allow the protests. But here they're just saying that if it's a protest, and we cannot do such a thing that is to protect to prevent them for the freedom of speech. Wani, I don't like when this says an anti-Semitism and all this, I don't think it is actually bringing the harmony more than it brings more of a fear. Even the Jewish person himself is not going to feel safe. This is all the time is bringing the news, and he doesn't want to as well going to every time he goes to a place there will be a machine seeing whether there's a metal and things like this. He doesn't want to live like this, do he? He wants to live normal. So all of these from the right wingers, the extremists, those are the ones who feed things and they live on these things. Like they're termites, a'udhu billah, these people. They live on the dead bodies. They just go to the Jews, yeah, because of the Muslims and because of the immigration, they link it to immigration. Well, the Jews are immigrants as well. Okay, the Jews are not immigrants. Subhanallah. We, the people, we will just do like the Jewish woman who did not, who had said on the radio, LBC, that Jewish was a very good woman. So why you always target the masajid? She's, I'm Jewish, by the way. They couldn't say anything. And there was Nigel when he was in the LBC at that time. I'm Jewish. Why do you keep attacking the masjid? Why do you keep the masjid? And he couldn't say anything. You could say anything if it's not Jewish, but the Jewish, stop. Anti-Semitism here. Why are you targeting? Why is this Muslim? We have our difference in our aqidah. This is for Allah Azza wa Jalla to judge. But for me to have a Jewish person neighbor, I'm going to be as good as that companion Abdullah ibn Amr al-As, when he said to that person, when he's slaughtering the animal, give to your neighbors. They're Jewish. He said, start with them. Start with them. Okay? And they want to target all these preachers who take anti-Semitism. We're going to take the preacher, for example, if he's going to talk about an ayah in the Quran. لَتَجِدَنَّ أَشَدَّ النَّاسِ عَدَاوَةً لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الْيَهُودَ وَالَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا. You're going to, Akhi, you can't be talking. Well, this is ayah of Quran. Okay? And he talks about what happened to the Jews at that time of the Prophet ﷺ. But we're not anti-Semitism. No, no, no. And we're not allowing any of that rubbish to do with harming anyone. And with these people, we will say that we will live in harmony as long as you are doing the same standard to the Muslims that you do it to the other ones. We didn't see your heat with this when the Muslims are being attacked. If you can count, if you make a statistics, how many attacked on the Muslims and how many attacked on the Jews? There's no comparison. There's no comparison. Correct or wrong? There's no comparison. There's no comparison. Muslims are much more attacked. So we want the same thing that you are hard for this to be hard for that, but not to have a choice. It will not happen. It would happen, mate.
That's how they want it.
Huh?
This is how they want it.
You know Jeff Kennedy, you remember the American? It happened. Could be a leader, he could be. You remember, what's his name? Ken Livingston. You remember? The mayor of London. Remember? He was good. He was good. He was just. It's to do with justice. Nothing to do with Islam. Just, the person is just. It does happen. Okay? Not every person who's going to be. But anyway, this is something on the side I would say, that we are more to protect the Jews in our deen than you guys are making just laws like this for the sake of the laws. It's in our deen. We don't really do anything harm to anybody. I have neighbors from all over. I'm an ambassador of my religion, alhamdulillah. But when I quote ayat on the Quran and say hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, it doesn't mean I'm anti-Semitism. A'udhu billah. طيب. خير إن شاء الله. I think we are close to the Isha now. Yeah, there is just a question. I forgot about these people. تفضل يا Faisal. It's the same people. Faisal, Zuhra. We're going to somebody else?
Yes, regarding the old person, right? It's a condition that he's
Faisal and Zuhra, both of you are being banned for the next classes.
but for today, Sheikh, Jazakallah khairan. Regarding the old person, right? It's a condition that they are unable to fast. Let's say they're old, but they're very healthy. They still have to fast, right? The old person.
Sheikh is an old person when he feels weak. And old, he could be 55, 65, feeling old, and then 75 is feeling strong. Okay, so this old, when he gets weaker, he knows himself. We're not going to have a criterion. Same thing, Allah makes it mutlaq, and just leave it like this. A person who feels old. You think Anas is not strong? He's strong. But he felt at the end of his life, he's a bit weak. That means he gets dizzy a bit when he fasts. So that's weakness. Okay, so I mean, that's obvious. Fadal Zuhra.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
So, if I remember correctly, if you missed Salah in the past, if you missed it a lot, then the easier option is to ask Allah to forgive you than to make those Salah up.
And make voluntary.
And make voluntary Salah. Okay.
A lot of voluntary, yes.
So what if historically you missed a lot of fasts? What should you do then?
Historically, you missed a lot of Salah. I don't understand that.
Fasts.
Oh, the fast of the fast. Sorry. Same thing. So if you have missed fast because you are not doing well, you're not a believer, same thing. The same thing, Ikhwan. Salah and Siyam, the same thing. So Islam, it's like you have came into the deen. There's no hadith called at-tawbah tajubbu ma qablaha, but this hadith is like, meaning of it is sound. Al-Islam yajubbu ma qablaha. So if this person did not committed to the deen, until he didn't start to be focusing on his deen until he was 25. We don't say to him, when was it when he became an adult? That's 6 years, they have to fast 6 multiplied by 30, that's 180 days. They're going to put him off. So he just makes, inshallah, same thing, repentance to Allah and increase in voluntary fasts. Just like increase in the voluntary prayer, increase in voluntary fasts. And don't worry. وسبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.